We have that big story about Attorney General Jeff Sessions. There are calls this morning for him to resign, George.
Or at minimum, recuse himself from that investigation into Russia's interference with our election after reports overnight said he had at least 2 meetings with the Russian ambassador, meetings that he did not disclose when asked during his confirmation hearing. Our senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas tracking this breaking story from Washington. Good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, George. That's right. Some Democrats are calling on Sessions to resign after reports that he met with the Russian ambassador before the election and did not tell Congress during his confirmation hearings.
This morning, the Attorney General under fire over this exchange with Senator Al Franken regarding allegations of Russian ties to Trump associates.
If there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do?
Senator Franken, I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians, and I'm unable to comment on it.
But Sessions, according to his own records, met with Russia's ambassador to the United States twice during the 2016 presidential election season. Once in the Senate office in September, and once following an event with the Heritage Foundation in July. Justice Department officials last night said there was nothing unusual about those meetings, that the meeting in his office was on his public schedule and attended by his staff. They said he met with numerous ambassadors, including ones from China, Canada, and Great Britain as part of his duties on the Senate Armed Services Committee. And they say the interaction in July was a brief encounter with 50 other ambassadors present. All this critical because U.S. intelligence agencies have been investigating whether any Trump associates were communicating with Russian officials during the campaign. Last night, Sessions responded saying in a written statement, "I never met with any Russian officials to discuss issues of the campaign. I have no idea what this allegation is about. It is false." Sessions has been under pressure from Democrats to recuse himself because he was one of Trump's earliest congressional supporters and a key advisor during the campaign. Now, with questions about his own contacts with Russians, Democrats are calling for him to step aside from any investigations involving the Russians, and there will likely be additional calls for a special prosecutor.
Sessions is the nation's chief law enforcement officer overseeing the FBI, which has been investigating Russian attempts to influence the 2016 election. He now faces incredible pressure from Democrats who are accusing him of lying under oath. But his spokesperson, Sarah Flores, said there was nothing misleading about Sessions' comments during the hearing. She said he was asked about communications between Russia and the Trump campaign, not about meetings that took place when he was a senator, George.
Okay, Pierre, this is complicated by the fact that the Wall Street Journal reporting this morning that Sessions has actually been a subject of those investigations, which were ultimately led by the FBI. So it leads to the whole question of can someone who's been a subject of the investigation be the person ultimately responsible for it?
George, we have no information that Sessions has been under any kind of formal investigation. But now, given these questions about his congressional testimony, some may call for just such a probe. George?
Okay, Pierre Thomas, thanks very much.